Hey everybody, welcome to Everybody Can Have One More Cat with Steven Meserve, because no one will ever notice. All right, guys, thank you everybody. We are here again with Everybody Can Have One More Cat with Steven Meserve, because no one will ever notice. And my guest today is Katie Sims Cats, from Virginia, from Virginia Beach. So welcome. It's really nice to see you again. How are you? Yeah, things are going good. How's the weather down there? So far, so good. You guys get snow?
Yes, we got snow last week. So it's just kind of cold right now, but it's Virginia Beach, which means it could be 70 degrees or 30 degrees. Yeah,
You never really know, right? And with the way the weather's been running, right? It's been so cold
exactly.
here in Portugal too, so it is what it
Mm,
is. So we're going to talk cats. So obviously the point of this podcast is to raise the visibility of all cats globally, pedigree or not. We're bringing on amazing people that are they're making an impact in this, right? So this is really exciting. So why don't you? So you and I met we obviously met online, but you and
right.
I met for the first time when we did our show in Westchester, right? In Westchester, New York.
No,
Was that
it was
it?
actually last year's, it just passed
Philly?
Pennsylvania, the Philly show.
Did you go to both? You went to
Yeah.
both.
Mhm.
Ah, you went to both. My gosh, you know me, my head, right? I don't even know
Oh,
where I
yeah,
am.
you have so many things going
I don't
on.
even know where I am half the time. So you're coming to Philly. You're coming to Philly again, right?
Yes, I'm
You're
so
coming to Philly
excited.
again. This is going to be a crazy show. This show should. I mean, it is really already very very busy. A lot of ticket sales, and it's going to be a really
Mhm.
hectic show. Hopefully, we can make a lot of new cat fans. So I'm looking forward to that. So tell us about your experience, what you've been doing, like why you know. I've said to a lot of people, I wasn't a cat person,
Mhm.
believe it or not, growing up. Like I had dogs, right? And dogs, as I mean
Oh,
like dog, I had one dachshund. And I wasn't really a cat person until I saw an ad in a newspaper for toy leopards at the time. It was like in the 90s, so it ended up being a Bengal. But like,
yeah.
I think a lot of people that are not cat people, I have this theory, right? I mean, some people are just born cat people, right? They're just kind of that energy. But I am a cat. Like I really think I'm a cat. Like I mean, I have dogs too, but like I just have that energy of cat, Like and I think that a lot of people have that. But and I say all the time, like and I think this relates to you as well, and maybe not, because I know part of your story. We're going to talk about it, but like my love of cats came when I met that cat. Do you know what I mean? Like there's the
Yeah.
one that like changes your world, like changes your life. Like I never had like such a bond, because I always had these, like, my aunts had cats and my grandmother had cats and my neighbors had cats, and they were just kind of around, right? Like, and
Okay.
never like really
Yeah.
never really connected with any of them. And then I had that cat. His name was River, and now I have
Mhm.
that cat now again, Stone, obviously. But no, I love all my cats. But
Love
there's that cat,
Stone.
right? He's here somewhere.
There he is.
So, but you have that, and you meet that cat, and the reason people are dog people versus cat people, in my
Mhm.
educated opinion at this point, is because they haven't met that cat. You know what I mean? The
I'm right
one,
there with you. I
the one that
completely
changes the
agree.
world. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me about that cat, or how that started with you.
Okay, so I grew up with cats.
Uh,
That's what my parents had, but they were indoor outdoor cats. And then I've always had a cat until I couldn't have a cat because of where I lived. But then I guess I got one cat. My son wanted a cat, and then I got a cat. Envy, his cat was Monday, and then but that cat that you're talking about, it for me is Tom Tom, and he's passed
yeah.
away. But there's his picture.
Yeah.
There's my other kitty.
Yeah.
There's another one. You just kind of hang out.
You'd be on the wrong podcast if you didn't have any, right?
Yeah.
So.
But that cat for me is Tom Tom. He's just my soul kitty. He literally showed up in my backyard in March of 2022. This kitty, Envy, black and white tuxedo, brought his attention to me. He's like, "Hey, mom, there's somebody outside. You need to go help him." Kept scratching at the door, just wasn't giving up. I have it all on video because at the time I was a special ed teacher and I was home during COVID time. So I started doing TikTok and Facebook and all that. So I go outside, I see Tom Tom, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to rescue this kitty, get him to the vet, and then, go from there. And it just became Tom Tom's journey. I had
That's how
him
it all
inside.
started, right? And he was like he was like part Scottish Fold, right? Is that right? Like, or no, we're not
No,
sure.
oh, I wish that was what it
It
was.
looked like
It's
from from all the pictures I've seen of him, but did he have something wrong with his ears? Yeah.
yeah, he had the vet thinks hematomas, ear mites, severe ear mites that turned into hematomas that then shrunk his little ears to make them crinkly. So it kind of gave him character, but unfortunately, it was a
So
painful
so
transition.
he found you, like, right? And
Yes.
like, and so I know this is hard to talk about, but I mean
It's
it is what
okay.
it is,
Sometimes I
right?
get a little choked up, but
Yeah, it's all right, but I mean it is what it is, right? So he came in just not too long ago. So she's talking 2022, right? Is that what you said?
yes,
Yeah.
March
So
5th of 2022.
how old do you think he was?
So I think he was like 15, but the
Ah,
neighbor
yeah.
said, yeah, the neighbor said he had been around the neighborhood for 10 years. And I just thought, how
And
have you
no
guys
one took him
not
in? Like,
done something for him? So, but the vets never want to age him because had so many health issues. His teeth were really bad, all kinds of stuff. So, but I think he was between 12 and 15. And then I got him inside June 21st of 2022. So about 4 months later, I was moving on the 29th. So it was like just in the nick of time.
Tom. So he came to you at like. So it's been like it was 2022. So you took him in, and then I asked what was it? We were talking about if he was a Scottish Fold. So start from there, I guess. What actually was the issue with him?
So the vet believes that it was ear mites that cause hematomas, that then they scratch, they burst, and the ears crinkle down, making them look like a Scottish fold. But it's actually that the poor baby, I mean, he could barely hear. It was just nothing but scar tissue in there.
Terrible.
Um,
So and like for your like, do you live in a populated area, or you like live in a like do you live in the city or what? Like is it like a
yes, Virginia Beach is a very touristy, big city.
yeah, so like people have seen him all around for 10 years and just kind of was like that's kind of sad, right? Like
That was my first thought was, why isn't somebody, she's like, oh yeah, this is after I got him in and I had come back. And one of the neighbors was like, yeah, we called him Stuart. And I was like, well, his name's Tom Tom now. And
so
I took him in and I'm taking him to the vet and he's gotten fixed and he's going to be my kitty. And yeah, it just, I think to some people, unless you're in the rescue world, maybe that's just like their expectation is,
you weren't really in the
yeah.
rescue world at that point, right? Like you were just
I was
taking
just fostering for the local Humane Society.
yeah,
So
so
I
you were
would foster kittens or a kitty that had been in there for a long time. I would take them home, give them a little time, and then bring them back.
yeah,
Um,
I'm the worst fosterer, so like I mean that's fine. I still have seven rescues here. The
no,
the
I get it. I have six, and three are foster fails.
Yeah, the same. So he came to you, he found you. I mean, this is like cats are smarter than we let them on, right? Like, so he was
Hmm.
like, well, okay, this lady, she's a cat lady. Like, I'm on my last leg. No pun intended, right? Or pun
Right,
intended.
right.
Like,
No, I
literally.
really do think that's what he was
Yeah,
thinking.
and she came to you, and he came to you, and that was it. Like, so in addition to his like obvious like external things, he had some. Did he have any like? Was he like? Did he have any diseases either? Like, was he?
Oh,
He had
let me see if I can remember them all.
yeah.
He had, so when he went to get his neuter, which he was a big fat like tomcat cheeks, he was the
Yeah, for
classic like
15
tomcat.
years. Like, how miserable, right? For him.
Yeah, and then all the battle scars and everything that he had. So she said, "Oh, he looks yellow." Well, that's liver disease. So it's like fast forward several months, so many vet visits, internist visit, and he has either lymphoma or just like a really bad case of what they call triaditis, the liver, pancreas, and kidney disease. He also had, like I said, his ears were really scarred up, so he couldn't hear very well. His tail was broken. All the things that as cat people, rescue people, we read their body language. I couldn't read anything on him except like his eyes and maybe his whiskers. So it was really
This
hard.
is battle scars. He's been outside
Yeah.
of his tomcat for 15 years, give or take,
Mhm.
right? Like this is what happens to a
Right.
tomcat. You know, people. When I first moved to
Yeah.
Portugal, there was a lot of cats in this area, and
Hmm.
there were people feeding them and stuff, which was really nice. But they were like, I mean, we need to. I was like, we need to neuter these cats, like otherwise it's just gonna
Right.
keep. And they were like, oh no,
Exactly.
if we neuter them, then they're gonna be in danger. I'm like, no, it's the opposite. Like it's the complete opposite. Like
Yeah.
so. Anyway, sorry.
Key
Back
is
to you.
education. Like I say that all the time. That's part of why I do what I do with social media is I just want people to know more.
Know more on what to do, and I mean, this is kind of the point of this podcast. I mean, everyone can have one more cat. It's true, but I
Yeah.
mean, if you can't, then you can obviously help as much as
Yes.
as much as possible. So he came to
Yeah.
you, and you gave him, and then unfortunately you lost him. How much longer?
It was just about a year ago. It was December 8th of
So,
2023. So
so
I
about
had
a
him
year
like
and a half.
21 months, give or take.
Ah,
Hmm.
so you gave him that. I mean, you gave him the best last years of his life.
Yeah. I feel
You
like he
know,
was a hospice kitty. Like looking back, I was so in it. I was sharing his journey. I was also teaching and everything at the same time. So I was juggling a lot when I was rescuing him and having him. But now I'm able to look back and see he came to me like just like you said, Stephen. It's like for help. He was like, "Hey, this lady's a cat lady. She's gonna take me in, take care of me."
indeed.
And
Indeed.
his last 2 months were on my bed. That's the only thing he wanted to do was hang out on my bed. So I think that was him like he knew he was about to pass and that he was trying to say like thank you and goodbye because he had never really like been a lap kitty or anything like most former
Because he
ferals.
doesn't know. He didn't know
Yeah.
any better, and
Yeah.
probably beginning to trust you was hard. It's kind of like Gargamel. You saw the story about my
Yes.
Gargamel.
Oh, I love Gargamel.
Gargamel, it probably reminded you of that too,
Yeah.
because someone dropped him off like in my house. Like it's just really weird because we have a lot of stray cats here. Well, not so much
Mhm.
anymore, but we had a lot of stray cats. But he was a
Sure.
Persian-ish. You know what I mean? So like I
Yeah, he
literally
was
opened the
gorgeous.
gate to my house is like is gated, the whole thing. So I opened the gates to drive out, and he was literally sitting on the neighbor's wall. And I'm like, the
Mm.
heck? So someone either he found me, which I like to think that that's the case, or someone knew that we were here, which is probably the true story. But I didn't think he was. I brought him in to the vet initially, and we were thinking maybe he was just 4 or 5 years old, 6 or 7 years old. But like as he had to go back to the vet for more things, as he gotten older, the vets were like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, this is like consistent with like him being very senior. So we misjudged
Yeah.
because he has really good teeth for a Persian. So it was really a hard call for them in the beginning. But as
Mhm.
he started to fail, and his kidneys started to fail, his liver started to fail, they were like, yeah, like he's probably 15 or 16 years old, and
Yeah.
so we too gave him the best.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
hung on to him as much as I could, but like with kidney failure, you can only do so much. It's hospice,
Yeah.
right? And like he was in and out of the vet the whole time. The last week he was there, I brought him home. We had him on an IV. We had him on
Mhm.
fluids all the time. He was on the fluids, he would eat. He wasn't on the fluids, he wouldn't eat. And
Same.
he was just wasting. So I made it a I made a I was just talking to my vet, and I was like, so he's either gonna die with me or he's gonna die with you, right? Like that's that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we chose him to die here, and that sucks. Do you know what I mean?
It
Like,
does suck. It's
yeah.
really hard and grief such a tricky thing. So I was so at peace that day. Of course, I was upset, but I was also like, he's running free. He's probably got his ears back. He's greeting others at the Rainbow Bridge, like all those wonderful things. And then sometimes it just hits you out of nowhere. So I know Gargamel just passed away, but
Uh,
it's hard. But
it
I'm
is.
just happy. I'm happy that that we both gave some senior
Yeah, I'm
kitties,
happy that
their best last
had the
days.
last. I mean, he could have died on the side of the road, hit by a car. Like, do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, and that probably would
Yeah.
have been, or just died alone somewhere, and that probably would have happened. Everyone Can Have One More Cat with Steven Meserve is brought to you by Roz, a family brand with a big heart. Roz is a pet nutrition brand that understands the importance of helping the furry friends we all consider family. Not only are they committed to providing pets with natural food options that are high meat and minimally processed, but they are also dedicated to giving back to those in need. By donating 100% of their profit through the Roz Fund, they've contributed over $3.7 million to pet-specific causes and those living with disabilities across the United States. Cooked in small batches, without the use of rendered meals, Roz Recipes ensures high-quality protein and nutrition in every bite. To shop their line of nutritionally complete offerings for cats and dogs, or find an authorized local retail partner near you, visit roznaturalpetfood.com. That's Roz, Rawz. Had you just moved there or had you lived there?
So that's what's so weird is I moved there in almost a year and a half prior to that. So I really do think it was just a meant to be thing. Um, because the whole time I was doing social media, so I was always filming and I never saw
Yeah,
him. There
it was
was
kind of COVID still, right? I mean, before that,
it was kind of COVID times, and but there was a couple other kitties that visited me all the time that I after a while I learned that they were neighborhood cats that just lived, primarily outdoors. So I fed the kitties and he just never came. And then one time, I don't know if they told him like, "Hey, come on over here. She's, gonna feed us."
Totally, probably, right? Is
Yeah, but
we had when we first moved here, and we moved here in 2020 in the middle of COVID from London,
wow.
and when I first moved here, I was like, "What the heck?" I mean, did we just buy a house like in the middle of like a cat like a sanctuary? I was like, there are literally cats everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we worked with the local people to get them, but for the first like 3 summers, right, or spring
Mhm.
summers, we ended up with kittens, and the kittens, we tried our best, you know what I mean, to grab the kittens, but it's hard. They're not really
It is
feral
hard.
either. They were like not really feral. They were just a little bit nervous. But like what really was really heart wrenching is that like they would come to us like when they literally had no other option. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
kittens would be covered in it's summer. So like they're covered in bugs, covered in fleas. They're getting literally vampire sucked out from the fleas, coming to us, we would be outside like having a drink,
Hmm.
and like 3 kittens would come out of the bushes like, okay, we need help, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was really bad. Like, I mean, and
Yeah.
now the last two summers we haven't had anything. So, which has been
Oh, then
really
you're
nice.
doing a great job.
Yeah, which means I mean we
Yeah.
are. I mean, we're doing as much as we can, but there is a local lady here named Dina that pretty much still feeds the cat. We help her out with monetary stuff, but she's it's
Yeah.
her thing. You know what I mean? Like she
Right. No, I know so many of those people.
I
I
live
get
in
it.
a village, and like so like she goes every day like clockwork, like cats that are
Hmm.
left in the area, like know she's coming. You know what I mean? And I've never
Yeah.
seen her not miss a day. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's
Yeah, they're usually very dedicated people, and then, they have their colonies and they take care of their colonies, and if they're responsible, then, which sounds like she is, you spay and neuter those and you get the kittens
well,
out and
that was the lady that we had to tell her, when I first got here, and I don't speak Portuguese as much as I should at
oh,
this point, but I mean, but Tiago does, so so we were able to communicate with her, but I mean, she was the one that didn't understand the importance of spaying and neutering.
oh,
She just thought that the male shouldn't be. I go, there was one orange, red tabby, ginger boy that I know was the father of everybody. You know what I mean? Like I know he
right,
was because genetically I can see it. You know what I mean?
right.
Like the colony was entirely reds, torties, blacks. Like and
Oh
knowing
goodness.
cat genetics, like I know this little, and some of the girls were red. And if you're a female with red, you have to have a red dad. So it's like. So it's like I know that little monster is so we ended up catching him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So
that
that
was
probably calmed it all down.
totally. He was so clever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he knew we were after him. It took us a couple months to get him. You know, but we
Oh, I'm
eventually got.
sure. He was probably very smart, like Tom Tom was.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
know. You know,
Yeah.
we got the humane cage and stuff. She brought it
Hmm.
over. We were able to grab him, and he got neutered. He's still around somewhere. You know what I mean? But he's sitting around. We did. I did. I don't know, like 15 or 20 adoptions in very early
Wow.
2021 that we actually sent to the United Kingdom. So, and a
Oh,
lot of
cool.
them, so a lot of my like, when I was actually breeding, a lot of my kitten owners, from the UK, like took a rescue, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
good.
so we brought them into the UK. So you have these like really posh, houses of Portuguese rescues now. Do you know what I mean? Which is really kind
Yeah.
of cool, right? They won the lottery. So
They're,
okay,
yeah. They literally
so
went from rags to riches. But
yeah, like right,
yeah.
so. And I feel bad too because the cats that when once in a while we see the cats come into my neighborhood, into my enclosure,
Hmm.
and I feel bad because my cats that are here looking out the windows are like, we're like super fancy living in this pink house, right? And I feel so bad like for the cats outside, you know what I mean? And
I
like,
know.
but they're still healthy. The weather's
Yeah.
kind of easy here, so you know what I mean. And they so far so good.
Hmm.
So we've done our. I
Yeah.
would say from the 100 that was here when we moved, there's probably only 15 or so left. So which
That,
is
I mean, that's pretty impressive. I
yeah,
get it.
it's hard.
I I also tried to use that humane trap on Tom Tom, and he would go in it, get the food, and then come out. And just fart. He was just so smart. Do you know? So
Even like a
you're
nice little
familiar with Chick-fil-A?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I got Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets, heated them up on a plate, and then opened my back door and hid behind my back door. And when he came in, it took him about 10 minutes to sneak. He just could not resist the smell of those chicken nuggets. And that's how I caught him. That's how I got him. So,
No.
because some of them are so savvy with those traps, they're just like, no, I'm not falling for it. I want to stay out
You need
here.
a collab with Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah, I
chicken
wish.
nuggets for the feral cats. So did that bond with Tom, like did that grow into something bigger? Like so tell us what's going on
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Okay, so long story short is, like I said, I was paired with Humane Society doing some fosters and some, getting the ones that have been out in a while. But I was moving to the Virginia Beach. I was living in a nearby city where I found him. So I reached out and said, "Who can help me with Tom Tom? Because I have this cat, and he really needs medical help." And then here comes Billy the Kitten Rescue, who now I'm a leader with them, in charge of their, not in charge, but assist with their social media. But they have become my family. So they helped me get him in, get him neutered. I started that relationship with the vets, and then he just continued to go there. And then that started my world of fostering and being part of the rescue. And now I actually work at, like, even into my career, I stopped teaching and I now work at a cat hotel called Kitty Island, where cats come and stay when people like go on vacation and stuff. So it is, he has changed my life in so many ways.
100%. Like 100%. Like that cat like literally made you make a career change.
Yes.
So that's more than just that's more than just that cat. I always say there's that one cat that changes you, but this is a full pivot. Yeah?
Yeah, totally. I was ready to leave. I had done 20 years of special education. My kids were grown. They're 29 and 24. They're doing their
Oh
own
gosh, you
thing.
don't look like you're that old to have that
Oh,
many
thank
that
you.
was a kid.
Um, but so leaving education made sense, but I just didn't know what that next move was. And then I started working at a vet office, and then literally 5, 6 months later, our president Emily Jackson was like, "Hey, we might buy this cat hotel. We think you'd be great for that." And I was like,
Dream job.
"Yes." I didn't even know we had this in Virginia Beach, so I do their social media, and I just love meeting the parents and the cats, and It's led to so many things. Like I said, I only had one or two cats. See
Yeah.
stone.
Normal, right?
Now I have
Any other
um
podcast would be weird, right? But this is like it's actually normal now. No.
oh yeah, totally. I mean, like I will pick up Mila in a minute because I don't think you've met her. You met Buko and Brew at the New York show.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's he's changed my life in so many ways. I understand more about the education, how important it is for TNR, spay and neuter, fostering, um, just learning medical things. Like it's it's changed my life in so many ways. It is my life 24/7. So, and I love it. I haven't been this happy in a very long time. So Tom Tom is my angel, and I love him and everything that
Totally
he
changed
did for
your
me. Yeah.
entire existence,
Yes.
which is really incredible. It's like I mean I pivoted to a whole new world, halfway through my life, phase two. So we're kind of on the same wavelengths, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
now that I've been doing this a long time, but it's full time now. Like my life
Right.
is as absorbed as yours, as you can imagine.
Oh, I
So
think yours is a little bit more involved than
yours
mine with
wasn't
loving cats
sometimes.
worldwide.
Yours wasn't sometimes. I wish I could take a break. The So yeah, let's you know this it is a really amazing story, and I think people will really enjoy that, and really will
Yeah.
resonate with a lot of people because there is that cat. And I say all the time, there are especially when we come to the events, and you hear me speak on the catwalk and stuff, and we do this kind of
Hmm.
stuff, and I say there's dog people, there's cat people, but there's dog people are so dog people, you know what I mean? But like cat people
Yes.
like dogs as well, normally, generally
Yes.
speaking.
Yes.
We are reasonable people, you know what I mean?
Right.
That I have dogs, right?
Yeah.
So, but dog people are very not, and that my theory is just they just haven't met that cat. You know what I mean? And
I
like,
say you haven't met your cat because
yeah,
you probably don't like all cats, but when you meet your cat,
yeah,
you'll be
right,
a cat
exactly.
person.
The one that's gonna change your
Yes.
life.
Yes.
And I never knew in my younger years like that cats would have that connection with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just assumed they were just there. I'm like, why would anybody want to have a cat? Like they don't do anything. Do you know what I mean? They
Oh.
don't. That was my when I was in my when that's what it was like when I was growing up. I just was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, the cat, she goes outdoors. That litter box stinks in the basement. I don't want to go near there. Like I just.
Uh,
But do you know what I mean? Like, and
yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of people have
Yeah.
that
I
mental.
think you are like a lot of people and then yeah, they meet a cat or they have an
It
experience with a
changes your
cat and they're like,
life.
"Oh," or they're in a relationship with somebody that had a cat, you know, and then
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, I like
it's
cats."
funny because this just the other day, I was in my bedroom, and I have two dogs. I have two Cavaliers, so they're as cat as you can get
Oh yeah, they're
anyway.
gorgeous.
But
Yes.
they're cats, yeah, for the most part. But they're a
Right.
lot, they're like a lot and in your face.
Mhm.
And and they came into my during the winter. Sometimes Tiago and I sleep separately because I like it warmer and he likes it colder, so like we have different temperatures, right?
Right.
So it was this it's really cold here. I don't really have heat, so we have space heaters. Long story is
Oh
but
gosh.
point is that I had the cats with me, some of the cats with me, and I had the dogs, and I was just like, okay, the dogs can go. Like the dogs can go. Take the dogs with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, God, I'm a cat person. Do you know what I mean? Like I've like literally become I just need the cats, and like it's
Yes.
just a
It
cat.
takes over. It just
A
takes over
cat
in every
hits
way.
different. They hit different. Like when
Hmm.
when you have a dog, like you know that the dog is gonna love you, right? Like they're gonna
Yes.
love you. They're gonna be there. But
Yes.
like
It's
when a cat
automatic from the first second usually.
yeah, but when a cat, like when Stone, like he sits with me and then he just looks at me, like with
Mm.
so much love in his eyes. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I'm his
Yes.
person. Like that hits way different than a dog. Sorry to my
Yeah.
dog people that are listening, but it's so true, right? Like it really does. It
Yeah.
just hits different. Like you have to work for that love.
Yes, yes. So that's why I think I like it so much too, because when you're a special ed teacher, it's very similar. It's like you might have a
Yeah,
student
that makes
with
perfect sense.
autism or intellectual disability, and they're like, I don't know about you. Like, I'm not gonna like you off the bat. You kind of have to show me that you care
It
and you know what
makes
you're doing.
sense. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it kind of parallels, and I really like that aspect of it. Yeah, but
I would
I get
want to
the
like
staring thing. Mila, Queen Mila she's a starer. Every time I turn around, she's just staring at me. And I have to stop what I'm doing and engage. I'm like, okay, you're showing me love. I just show it back.
So funny, right? It just hits differently. I
Yeah.
don't know. So let's move to, so you're pretty much in the rescue world to an extent, like, not
Yes.
maybe as up to your eyeballs as some of these other rescues, but you're involved in this. So you came across us, right?
Yes.
And we do a really good job, in my opinion, of building the bridge between rescue and pedigree. You know,
Absolutely.
I
Yes. I
mean,
had no idea until I went to a show. And then I was like, I want to go to all of these.
yeah, I
So
think,
yes, you do a
all of a
great job.
sudden we're not the first or only cat association in the world, right? We're the newest kid on the block, right?
Yeah.
And, to launch a cat association in present day is bonkers to begin with, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because
Yes.
it hasn't been an organized association of any animals really, I don't know, to launch like in present day. But,
Mhm.
my whole point of loving cats worldwide was loving cats worldwide, pedigree or not, like all cats are equal. It doesn't matter if you have a moggy red ginger cat versus a
Right.
solid white Persian. They're the same cat. Like that
Right.
Persian may think he's fancier, but it's the same cat. And
I
everybody
agree.
deserves the same. And it's funny because when we first started out, we've only been running a couple years, 2.5 years actually, and we got hit with the same stuff that like the organized associations get hit with,
Sure.
breeders, greeters, like ba 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 ba. But I'm like,
Hmm.
hold on a second, you know what I mean? We give a lot of space to rescue organizations. I talk
Absolutely.
nonstop
Huge,
about
huge spaces.
huge. We
Yeah.
talk nonstop about the rescues, talk nonstop about everybody can have one more cat.
Yes.
If you want to get a pedigreed Maine Coon because that's what you look for and that's
Right.
the aesthetic that you like, that's fine. But there's no reason why you can't get a rescue as well. That's kind
Right.
of and I think a lot of rescue people when we
Mhm.
first pop up on the scenes but then they dig a little bit and they're like, wait a second, what I mean, these guys are really doing their part to decrease
Yes.
because right now it's all about education and all about,
Hmm.
I had some guests on yesterday, John and Robin Patterson, which I don't think you would know because they're from California. They're one of the best Bengal breeders in the world. So we
Okay.
talk a lot about, the education on proper cat, what questions to ask when you want, because there's not enough education around acquiring a pedigree cat and what red
Right.
flags and what questions to ask and what testing needs to be done.
Absolutely.
And like, there's not, it's the breeders that are going to our events and cat shows in general. Their kittens are not the ones, or their cats are not the ones ending up in the shelters.
Right.
It's the ones that are not, that are breeding for money, the ones that are producing at a mass level, the ones that have a website where you can pick a kitten, put it in a shopping cart and go get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is the people that need to be regulated. But
Yes.
there's
Absolutely. And I
there's
have that story like that. You're describing Mila, my 100% Maine Coon,
tell me,
her
yeah.
story.
Yeah. So tell me
Oh,
about her.
okay. I just want to say everything that you just said, I 100%, 1000% agree with, because when I went to your first show in Philly and then even your second one that I experienced in New York, it's so many rescues and so many cat people, and I love the way you talk about, I mean, you're just phenomenal with the way that you talk about the
Oh, thank
cats and hold the
you.
cats and educate us about the cats and the breeders. And then you have the household cats, and so everybody feels like you said, like an equal, they're all cats, they're all beautiful, they should all be celebrated. So
Everybody
I
takes home the best cat at the
I
end of
just
the
love
day.
it, and it's what I'm taking my week's vacation to go do, is to go to Philly, see my best friend, and we're going to your show all weekend. So we're so excited about that. Yeah.
Tell me. So how did you end up with an obvious pedigree Maine Coon? Yeah.
Okay, let me grab her real quick. I want to show
Yeah,
you
yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. For you guys that are listening, our next show is in Philadelphia at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center,
So
February
she's
8th and 9th.
sleeping. Well, she was sleeping. Let me pull the curtain a little bit. There's Mila.
She's beautiful.
Say
So,
hi,
so how
baby.
did you? How did? Is she white or is she
She's
solid?
all white.
Solid white. Is she blue-eyed?
She's yellows, like
Oh, good, better.
goldish.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes blue-eyed whites they can't hear.
Yeah.
So
So,
how did you
um,
end up there?
so I was looking, I don't even know how to tell you. That's why her name is Mila for a miracle, because I don't even know how I came across her profile, but I came across her, was on Facebook and somehow ended up off of Facebook. And it was a free kitten being retired, or free cat being retired after having kittens. I look at her pictures, they look gorgeous. I look at the website, it looks legit. There's reviews, like all these, they've won awards, all these things. Um, and then I go to pick her up,
Mhm.
and her teeth are bleeding, and she's like soaking wet, 8 pounds, 1 ounce.
And was this near your house in Virginia Beach?
It was a couple hours from my house.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, of course, they're like, "Do you still want to take her? We need a
Were
quarter."
they a breeder of Maine
They were a
Coon?
breeder.
What was the house like? Yeah, rough?
Um, the house was a little messy, but the area that they kept the cats, which was like, it looked like a built-on Florida room,
Uh,
looked beautiful and phenomenal. And
that's
I
good.
think that's what they showed people. Um, so I buy her for a quarter. Um, I won't go into do all the details, but I was scared. I wanted to get out of that
A
house.
quarter, like literally.
A quarter. He said I need something, because he had advertised it as free. So, and me, Miss Naiveness, goes and thinks I'm getting this beautiful cat, a retired. But I'm thinking, well, he sees I'm on social media and I'm a good cat person, and maybe he wants me to have this cat for free, like genuinely. But no,
But
take
literally
her
a
to the,
quarter, like a coin.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
literally a quarter. So the next day I take her to the vet, and they are asking me so many questions, and I feel like I'm in trouble. And I'm like, I swear I got her from here. They called the breeder and asked them several questions, and reported them, obviously. But fast forward, she's had all her teeth out. She's had surgery for what they thought was possibly
How old is
lymphoma.
she?
She's 5.
Huh.
And they thought that she was like 8 to 10 years old because of how she presented, because she's gained quite a few pounds since I had her. But she
Well,
was,
there's
like
no
I said,
going back anyway. Like you went in there and like, what do you do, right? Like the cat's
right,
like obviously emaciated, obviously in bad condition.
right,
Now what? Do you just say
right.
no?
I just want to get her out of
Yeah,
there.
here's your
Yeah,
quarter.
yeah. Here's your quarter.
You
Give
know what I mean?
me whatever you want to give me,
This
and
is the
get me
best
out
thing
of
that's ever
there.
gonna happen to this cat. Like ethically, what do you do at that point? You know what I mean? Like to be able to
Right,
turn your back on that, like you know what I
right.
mean? You can't. You're
Exactly.
in.
I
You're in.
just and then get in the car, and she has nonstop diarrhea, like really bad diarrhea the whole way home. Had it not just on the way home, which I thought was from, just being upset that she's leaving and in a carrier. She had she had it for 4 more months until I got her into an internist that put her on meds, and then she got better. She gained enough weight to have a spay appointment. They did a biopsy for what they thought was lymphoma. They still don't know what it is, but she's on like a chemo med. She
Still.
has, yeah, still. She's had all of her teeth removed, and then she still has gum issues. So she's on the steroids. They did chirotherapy, like the cold therapy. That didn't work. So we're trying to figure out what the next step is with her. But
So
all the things
how
that
long have you had her for?
I got her April 9th of
Oh, so
2023.
quite a, so quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
been through a lot. Her first year was pretty rough, and she almost passed away after her spay surgery because the anesthesia was just like too much for her. She went
And
back
she
to the
wasn't even
vet.
spayed at 5 years old. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
like you did a lot of her. This is terrible. It's like like it's these breeders that give the legitimate people doing
Yeah.
what they do for the best to preserve the breeds the problem. You know, the breeders that do an amazing job don't get the press that this would, if God forbid, if you blew it up. You know what I mean? Which you would, you know what I mean? Which you
They have are facing over 50 animal cruelty charges, and
ah
the U.S. Humane Society.
because of your vet or
I
what?
think because a combination of our rescue that I work with, who also reported, I was, you know, they should, because she ended up.
Where were the cats kept? Like, do you think there was another whole place?
So I think that they were keeping them outside in like little sheds or something because, and this is all with the U.S. Humane Society, so this is public knowledge.
Yeah.
In November of 2023, I believe.
Not like we're naming names, so it's all right.
Right. I'm not naming names.
Yeah.
But they raided the house and they took 110 Maine Coon cats out of this little tiny ranch house. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she's part of a big story as well. And I'm glad I named her Mila because, like I said, I have no idea how I came across that
How
site,
did
but
they
it
only have
obviously was
one?
meant to
How
be.
did they only have one? How did they only have one to get rid of? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I
Like,
had another one and I took her.
ah,
Her name was Selena. She was a tuxedo Maine Coon,
uh-huh.
but I adopted her. You know, the
Oh.
rescue took her, and then I was trying to get more, but he stopped responding to my emails.
So do they still have the cats or what? Or do they take everybody?
As far as I know, they took everybody, and then they just dispersed them into different places around
They
Virginia,
went to
like
different,
Florida.
they went to different rescues, yeah,
Hmm.
obviously to get care.
Yeah,
It's like it's so ridiculous, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
there are amazing breeders in the world, there are terrible breeders in the world. There are amazing rescues in the world, and there are terrible rescues in the world.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you know,
think ours is amazing. We're the
right?
largest one on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So we do
What's the
big
name
time
of the
stuff.
rescue? What's the name of the rescue that you work with?
It's a Billy the Kitten, so it's a play on Billy the
Okay.
Kid.
Is it
So instead of
K I
kitten,
D D E N?
Kitteen, it's Kidden.
Dr. LC strives to put heart, soul, and science into all their products, with a variety of premium cat litters and protein packed foods that address the health and behavioral needs of cats in every stage of life. Dr. Elsie's is dedicated to solving the complex needs of pet owners with veterinarian formulated solutions. The brand always puts the cat's well being first, with a singular goal of enhancing the lives of cats and their parents. We were talking about the black and white, I guess that you got too, right? Was that right?
Oh yeah, Selena. Yes. Got her spayed. Thought she was gonna be part of my family, but she was a little too much personality for my group. So somebody else adopted her, and she lives with King Charles dogs as well, just like
Oh
yours. And
yeah,
she thinks
yeah.
she's a dog.
I think mine think they're cats. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this. So
yeah,
this.
she fits right in.
So
So I get
funny.
updates on her all the time.
So again, another situation that you probably saved 100 cats from ill fate. You know what I mean? By just going to pick that one cat up. No.
Yeah, I think that they got a lot of complaints, and Mila just because she went to so many different vets, and everybody had questions. That yeah, we were probably a part of that, and I'm glad. I don't know what the outcome was of their court case and stuff and their charges, but I feel like at least they were held accountable for the things that they did do. Maybe learn from
I
it.
don't know how people like that exist in the. I do know, but it's just like literally, if I'm out like too long from my house and like I know the cats, like if we feed the cats at like 7 o'clock at night and I
Yeah.
don't get home until 9, I'm in a panic. Do you know
Yes.
what I
Well,
mean? Like
same.
I'm in
Yeah.
never mind like that much ridiculous neglect,
Yeah.
like on a,
Yeah.
it's just,
I
it's
think it was all about the money for them because they were
course.
making 2 or 3 grand per kitten, and she gave them 4 litters. So they had made their money off of her.
She was probably letting them go at like 8 weeks anyway, where they were
Hmm.
hardly ready to go. Cats should be at
Right.
least kept till 12, if not 14 weeks. Kittens are, they're not ready to go at that point, and just turning and burning, right?
Right.
And I'm sure Maine Coons have like one of the highest issues of heart related problems, and I
Yeah.
am so sure that they were not scanning, you know? at
No,
all.
no, I don't think they were getting them any care, which was part of their charges, was that they were getting their care, taking them to Russia. Well, how often were you going to Russia to be able to get them vet care properly? So,
Were they Russian, the people?
yeah, they were.
Let's not be judgy, but
No, no, not at
no,
all.
I won't be judgy, but I mean, you have a lot. I mean, in defense of my Russian friends that I know, they're very organized and very methodical and like take extreme care of their cats.
It was not like that. Like they, you know, whether whoever they were, it was clear that they were not operating the way that they should have
You
been.
got 150 cats and you're pumping. I mean, you're making some serious cash if you're selling those for $2,000 each. Probably pump out 50 kittens a month. You know what I mean? Like, this is big money.
Yeah,
know?
so you should be able to get them proper care. So
right? I mean,
Right.
like, but it's all about the bottom line, right? Like, and how much they can squeeze out of these poor. This is a kitten mill. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You don't hear the word kitten mill as much as you hear the word puppy mill.
Yeah.
But it absolutely exists. So wow, that's a crazy story. I didn't know. So you're coming to Philadelphia, so I'm excited about that. Are you coming? You're coming for both days, right?
Yes.
You're coming for both days.
Yes.
Philly's going to be so crazy. I have we had to get another room because
I know. That's awesome though. I'm excited to hear you got a
I
bigger
was on the
space.
fence about doing it. We have the floor plans done for it, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, we don't really have quite enough vendors and rescues yet to fill the other room, but I think now that it's open, we'll be able to do it. But I think for the overflow, because I mean, last year was 6,000 people.
Yeah,
over the
I was gonna
course
say it was a huge space, and you didn't have enough space, and there was
No.
there was so many people there. So, and I only came Saturday, but yeah, I'm
To be
looking
honest,
forward to
I don't
coming
even
both
remember
days.
you.
And
That's something terrible. I don't even remember. I think I was just so sideways that I don't even remember that show. I just remember that show, looking up, being like, "Oh Jesus, is too busy in here." You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
it was a lot.
that's
It was
one of
very
our-
crowded.
That's one of our best venues that we have because it's not quite Philadelphia. It's obviously outside of Philadelphia,
Right.
but it's free parking. It's easy to get to. Everybody knows where it is. You know what I mean? This thing. And I think last year, this is our third year there. The very first year was our busiest show ever. And it was, this is going to sound so crazy, but we are doing in the hall next door is the gun show. It was on the first show, on the first weekend. The gun show was there.
Oh, no.
Last year, I think we had like wrestling or like
Oh, cheerleaders.
cheerleaders, dance
Cheerleaders.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this year we're back with the gun show. And I think a lot of the husbands went to the gun show and a lot of the wives came to
Oh, there you go. It was perfect.
but it was so crazy. And this year again, we're back with the gun show. So that seems like the craziest combination of
Right.
but
Yeah, what works works. Yeah.
it works. So I'm really, there's Lady Bunny. So Lady
I
Bunny.
see.
Yeah, Lady Bunny was she's a little blind in one eye. She was you can see it, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
She's
She's
a naughty
a cute tortie. Does she have the tortitude?
years old. She's just a tiny little thing. She's was my worst kitten that came out of the bushes. Like the worst. Like literally just sitting there, and she came out of the bush. I have a video. I'm gonna repost it. But
Oh,
there
you should. Those things are so exciting to see the beginning of journeys.
I had to pick every single egg, flea, everything off.
Oh.
Of her. They were so bad. And I put her in isolation and and then
Yeah.
she's just here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Living her
best life. Steven, I had no idea that you did. I know you said rescues, but I had no idea how involved you like you're doing the things that we do in the rescue world as a huge, organization.
I'm really lucky. I'm not doing it formally, right? I mean, but
Right.
I'm
But you're doing it. Most people are like, I found this cat. Come get it.
That's kind of the point of this whole thing is like
Yeah.
everybody can do it.
Absolutely.
If everybody, maybe everybody cannot have one cat, but pretty much everybody can have one more cat, right? Like you can't.
Everybody can help in some way so that
Some way.
Some way.
Whether it's volunteering, whether it's fostering,
donating.
even time, like we
Hmm.
reach out to every single rescue that we that we can find in the general area that we pop up in. And I think we only get a very small percentage of rescues that actually come because of staffing. That's
Hmm.
always the thing. So like even like to volunteer to work an event, like we're not the only gig in town, right? I mean,
Right.
there are other events that you could volunteer to help
Yeah.
out with. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
so much you can do to get involved, to do your part. And I
Yes.
think I think that is I think people just don't know
No,
enough
yeah, they don't know how to
about it.
help. Our rescue has two places. One's like a retail store, pups and stuff, and it has a cattery in the back that we hold kittens that, need help or they're waiting for adoption. We partner with PetSmart and have them in the little things. We have
Yeah.
PetSmart adoption events, and we have my friend Nicole within the rescue has this thing called the Caddy Shack, which is literally a shed in her backyard that holds pregnant ferals until they can do like TNR or if they're social. So, and we need volunteers all the time, and I think it's because people just don't know that it's like right here in your backyard that you can help, even if it's just 1 day a week or 2 days a month or whatever. You don't have to have a cat. You can just help in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, even with dogs too. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you don't see the amount of stray dogs, that you see stray cats. But here in Mediterranean Europe and the islands,
Hmm.
you see a lot of stray dogs as well,
I've
right?
seen that 90 Day Fiance, and you see all the you see all the videos, and you see dogs and cats just roaming the streets like it's just a
Uh,
normal thing.
Yeah,
So,
I did go to Istanbul this year. I don't know if you saw the video.
wow.
I went to Istanbul this year, and uh I did a lot of content with the cats because it's all cat crazy there, right? But there were cats
Yeah.
everywhere. But they're the most healthy street cats I've ever seen in my life. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because it's just part of the Turkish culture. You know what I mean?
yeah.
To take care of, to take everybody. The cats don't belong to everybody. The cats don't belong to anyone in particular. They belong to the country or the
Right.
city.
That is amazing. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Really,
I
it
love
really,
hearing
it
stuff like
really is.
that.
They're just such a cat crazy well. So anyway, so thank you so much. I am really looking forward. Are you coming in? Are you coming in both days, Saturday and Sunday? Um,
Yes. And I'll
and
be
you're gonna
bringing
bring,
Mila with me to be
uh-huh.
part of the household, cat judging and
So
hanging out.
I'd love to get you into, I don't know if you did a talk at the last event.
I
Maybe we
did.
can,
Yeah.
you
I
did?
talked about Tom
That's great. So
Tom.
let's get you booked in for that, which will be really, really cool. You can talk
Okay.
about your efforts and everything that we do,
Sure.
which would be really amazing. And obviously we're gonna do some content together. I don't think we did enough the last two shows, you know what I mean? But we should try to.
No, it's so hard because you always have so much going on.
In this particular show too, like I'm judging. Usually, I try to get out of judging full time and just kind of run the stage. But
Hmm.
sometimes, just because of judges and areas, we just don't have the staff. We don't have enough.
Yeah.
So I'm judging this time full time, and I have to keep an eye on the
Yeah.
stage, too, which is now.
But you're training your husband, right?
Yeah, but
So he
he
might be
is.
one?
He
Or is he
he is
still in
not coming to
training?
this. He's not coming to this show.
Oh.
He won't be there. He comes to the we did. Where did we go? We went to the UK. He'll probably come to the London show. It's really hard for the both of us to leave at the same time.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's understandable.
We
Yeah.
do have people that help us out, but it's more the dogs, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like they're a little bit more needy to leave, right? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully you'll get to meet him at some point. I don't know what else other shows you can come to, but hopefully you can get to some more besides Philly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to do any, and I know you said we could start our own in Virginia Beach and you'd help and stuff. I just have so many things going on in my world right now, but
Yeah,
that
but that's another whole conversation, and
it
people that are
is.
listening, it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot easier if you can plan a party. You can plan a show. That's what I always say. Right? You just got to open the doors, and they
Yeah.
will come.
True,
But
true.
thank you very much, Katie. It was really,
You're
really nice to see
welcome.
you. I will see you in person. This is Everyone Can Have One More Cat. No one
Oh,
will ever
hold on.
notice. That's the point.
Can
And
I
yeah,
can I do a real quick video with you saying that so
yeah,
that I
yeah,
can share
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Anyway, Katie, really nice to see you. And I will see you in Philadelphia. This is Everybody Can Have One More Cat with Steven Meserve. No one will ever notice. Hopefully you guys listened. I hope you enjoyed it. It was really nice to have you here as one of our first guests. So
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you in like 3 weeks.
Yes, I'll see you then. All right.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.